Hello everyone. How are you doing? We are here to watch the Global Chess Championship by chess.com, and today we have Nihal versus Kramnik and Ronak versus Anish Giri. Two very interesting matchups there, and I'm just gonna get the board for you. Sagar is right now at Delhi. Yesterday he mentioned to you today is a day full of exciting matches. At night we have Arjun versus Magnus Carlsen. And let's begin the game. 1 second, and I will need one help from you all. I need to follow Nihal's game, so please let me know how do I do that. Time format is 15 minutes plus 2 seconds. Time format is 15 minutes plus 2 seconds. Time format is 15 minutes. Okay, very sorry. Now it won't be there. The echo won't be there anymore. Just set it up. Yes, gone. So, guys, how do I follow Nihal's games? Can you help me with it? As Sagar mentioned to me that don't worry, if you don't get anything, then chat is going to help you. Says like, of course, I have no doubt about it. Okay, so maybe I have to, I don't know, nobody, I need to call somebody to understand how do I get the games. साइड में ऑप्शन होता है प्लेयर्स का वहाँ जाने का बट आई एम देयर निहाल आई हैव आल्सो सर्च निहाल आई हैव आल्सो maybe I'll just go to play live chat 1 second. Maybe I will do this thing. Yeah, guys, do you know that /follow Nihal Sarin? Maybe that is something which I can try. Yeah, you are now following Nihal Sarin. So, has the game started yet? Watch वाला option पे जाओ. अरे I went to watch. I went to Global Chess Championship. Play के नीचे watch option है. That I know. I went to Global Chess Championship also, but उसके बाद there are games. I went to games, but I don't think the game has started. Look at this. Let's search for Nihal. Yeah, and here there is Nihal Sarin. And I have clicked on his name, and it's Mamedev. Start होते ही आ जाएगा. अच्छा, it's not yet started. It's not yet started. That's what I think. And what about Anish? Maybe I need to open one more game. What is the ID of Anish? Can somebody help me with? games, but I don't need it because if I search Anish here, oh, their game has started. Okay, मतलब मैं एकदम बराबर हूँ. No problem. Nihal's game had not started. That was the issue, guys. Not that I couldn't find it. Should be everything. Should be okay. Let's first focus here on Anish's game, Ronak versus Anish. I think I made some blunder in the thumbnail, but I'll figure that out later. We'll tell Abhidaya to share the thumbnail where I have all 4 players. It's going to be interesting. Okay, shall we focus? Let's have a quick look at the opening. It was Geico Piano and C3, A5, all normal opening we have there. The game has just begun. 15 minutes plus 2 seconds is the time control. Here, if you take on E6, black gets FE6, and white has to watch out for rook F3 ideas, knight H4, knight F4, knight H5, knight F4. A very comfortable, solid play for black. So, Anish, who is white, goes for bishop B5 here. He doesn't exchange queen B8. The idea of this move queen b8, which has become very popular, is to go queen a7, and you can see a slight weakness there on f2. By the way, welcome everybody in the chat. I did not get time to welcome you all. Like Sagar Bhai, how he does hello, hello, hello and all that. So very sorry for that. Okay, Srishti says, hello Amrita, I'm very excited for today's. Good luck to you and Sagar. Thank you so much, Srishti. So queen a7 is a threat. He takes on c6, bishop c6, b takes c6. It all looks preparation. d4, and there it has been exchanged. C takes d4. Look at the center which Anish has. Looks very, very powerful. But in return for what? What is black having? What is Ronak having? Double bishops here and development. So development is there. You can see this bishop needs 2 moves to develop. Isko jan nikalna hai, isko nikalna hai. Then the queen has to move. The rooks need to connect. So 3 moves for development for white, whereas just 1 move by this queen and black's rooks are connected. Okay, knight goes to f1, saying ki theek hai, I am now ready to develop. यहाँ पे maybe bishop e3 looks like the best developing square. d5 was played by Ronak. Very good move, in fact. Not an easy move, but a very good move. Why is it a good move, guys? What do you think? Why is it a good move? Guys, as we have decided that when Anish is playing, Anish is the opponent, we are not going to flip the board. It's always going to be white on this side. So, gaining center is one thing. Yes. So, guys, important point is d5 asks white to take a decision. Because if you go e5, let's say, this knight can go to e4. And important to observe that the bishop is a dark square bishop. And the central pawns are dark square. What does it mean? That many times it is the central pawns which determine if your bishop is good or bad. And in this case, this bishop has to defend, whereas this bishop is going to attack. So this d5 idea was very powerful, as white does not have a light square bishop over here to weaken. Hence d5 was a great move by Ronak. And what Anish played was to play, he did play e5 in fact. Knight e4 happened, a beautiful knight here. White has to keep an eye on f2 pawn. Bishop e3 has been played, and c5, exactly the normal break. And here the advantage is you have double pawns. So और एक c5 future में आने वाला है. So c5 was played. There are 2 pieces already defending, so not to worry. D takes c5, bishop takes c5, bishop takes c5, and knight takes c5 has happened on the board. As of now, black is threatening something. What is black's threat? Yes, Jaskaran asked any news about Arjun and Raja's match. It has been postponed. It is not clashing today. So, I mean, it didn't clash yesterday. Yeah, Suniti Dash Harsh, absolutely right. The threat was Queen B2. But Anish went knight d4, saying, I don't really care about it. But Ronak says, okay, you don't. But I do. I am going to be a pawn up right now. And he takes the pawn on queen b2. Is Anish going to have. Uh, is Anish going to find a very good way to get compensation? Look at his development now. We were talking about it a while ago. But his position looks very, very interesting here. With this knight on d4, the bishop on e6 now does not look very good. The c file looks very happening for this white rook. Party chal rahi hai. And the knight on g3 soon may go to h5, have some pressure over here. At the right time, this takes queen g4. A lot of plans are in the air. Very interesting plans for white. So Ronak is a pawn up, and if he is able to defend Anish's ideas, then he goes in the endgame with a pawn up, which means he will have advantage. So very important question is, will he be able to defend Anish's ideas right now in the middle game? That is the question, guys. How do you assess this position? 11 minutes for each, so time difference is absolutely normal. By the way, has Nihal's game started? No, not yet. And if it starts, please do let me know. Today we have Nihal versus Kramnik. Is it at any particular time which I have missed? Please do let me know about that. It has started, says Himang. Himang, can you send me the link? Can you send the link on WhatsApp to Sagar? Okay, Ronak is thinking what very sorry for that lag. Extremely sorry. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to be getting everything back. Nihal's game also. Just starting in 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. In the meantime, Ronak is still thinking in this position. He's down to 8 minutes 41 seconds. Bear with me because I am not a super expert, but I'll learn. I will learn. And yes, that worked. Thank you so much, Himang, for sending the link. Right now we are there. It just started 2 to 3 minutes back. Let's go through the opening. Guys, everything should be fine now, and I am back. Yes. C4. Let me take you through the opening very quickly as some moves have happened. It's the English opening. Will give you a feel of reverse Rosoli move. Bishop b4, and he took on c3. The very big imbalance is the double bishop versus the bishop and knight. Black was able to manage to give a double pawn to white, and now e4 immediately. A very nice dynamic play. Everything is opening as of now. Rook e8. He goes knight d4. Not at all worrying about the king yet. Knight goes to c5. This is not just a double pawn, but it is also an isolated pawn. By the way, Nihal is black in the position, has beautiful knights here. In fact, just look at the C file. The whole file is occupied by everything. That is a nice design there. Bishop a3 attacking the knight. Knight goes to e6. Clearly, this knight is attacked. You have to defend or take one of the knight. He decides to take the e6 knight, not the c6 one. Rook takes e6 by Nihal. Very unusual to have, all 7 pawns on 7th rank. They're not moved. And the rook on e6. Very unusual. But it's a very nicely placed rook. At some point, it has to decide because it is coming in the way of the bishop. Let's not forget it could shift to h6. It is putting pressure on e2. The queen could even put more pressure on e2. It's interesting. Oh, Kramnik goes c5. A very nice move. Wants to eliminate his double pawns. D takes c5 and he is thinking. Look at the double bishop. This bishop is definitely very, very powerful. It's not going to help black to play b6 very easily, but can you see the advantage of this rook on e6? It is defending the c6 knight, and in fact the rook doesn't have to move. The pawn moves to b6 so that the bishop is able to challenge this bishop on g2. That is brilliant. Oh wow, we have Chessbiz India in the chat. Says hi guys from Delhi. Amrita, so happy to see you streaming. I have a talk at EduCon in 1 hour. Oh Sagar, finally you managed to reach after all the jhol. So great to see your message in the chat. Okay, all the best. Let us know when the talk is over. You can maybe join us again in the chat. Or I will send you a Zoom link. No, but no. B6, I would really love if you are able to have a good time over there. So B6, Kramnik is thinking. Firstly, this bishop has to take a decision. Science or commerce. Guys, this is one decision the bishop has to take. The typical dilemma after the... Oh, first he entered this move, rook a d1. That's an intermezzo. Remember, whenever you attack the opponent's piece, there is always a choice to counter-attack. So this is one way when the attack happens. Queen e8. Dash says science दीदी, super clarity, कोई doubt नहीं है. Queen e8, e2 was hanging, so there was not much of a choice because at the same time, the bishop on c5 and pawn on e2 both were hanging. He goes bishop e3, bishop b7 now. I like Nihal's position very much because the knight on c6 is ready to jump to either of the squares in the future. And look at the c4 square in front of the isolated pawn. What does it mean? It means if the knight comes to c4, it cannot be kicked away because there is no pawn on d2 or b2. So, ये तो बढ़िया है. Plus, it will attack the bishop. Then it will put the pressure on e2. The future is looking very bright for Nihal. But as we know, Kramnik, who was the former world champion and a very, very strong player, is not going to let his bishops just die so peacefully. He is going to create a lot of play, and how he's going to do that is something we need to see. Okay, rook e5 could be option. You want the rook on the e file so that it keeps putting the pressure on e2. So that is why it's not a very difficult question whether to go e5 or e7 because those are the only two squares there. Very quickly, also shifting to Anish versus Ronak here. Okay, Anish versus Ronak here. We saw until this point, knight d4, queen b2. Yes. He played rook e8. Ronak played rook e8 here. Rook e3 is played. Haha, that's funny. Anish's rook on e3, Nihal's rook on e6 in that game. Bishop d7. Ronak tried to defend his bishop, move his bishop from the e file so that his rook is able to put more pressure on e5, and Anish continued with knight f5. This looks slightly loose here with both the knights coming in and right now threatening queen d5 So Ronak is thinking, he's down to 5 minutes, Anish has 8 minutes, plus Anish has some initiative exactly because of the knights and the pawn structure here which I have marked. That is the reason. Yet Ronak can fight this position, though not so easy. Firstly, right now he may have to exchange the bishop and remove one knight from the board. That is needed, but he's on the defending side. And here, if you take queen d5, then it's possible for black to play this way and get a lot of compensation with rook d8 trying to get into the 7th rank. Let's see how Ronak is going to continue. In the meantime, switching back to Nihal's game, we left it here: bishop e3, bishop b7, bishop d5. Nihal decides to shift his rook from the E file to the D file. To the D file. Okay, there would be some reason, right? This has to be a little careful with some discovered attack ideas over here. And at some point, not now, but queen e4 and all. So queen e4, already Kramnik challenges the queen exchange here. Nihal has to decide whether he wants to take, which should be okay. You take here, and knight a5. When the knight goes to a5, the advantage is the bishop is defended. So takes, and the knight goes to b7 for the moment, which should be okay. Rook d6. So let's say bishop takes, queen takes e4, bishop takes e4. Right now, if you go knight a5, bishop b7, knight b7, and if you play rook d6, then knight d6. And after all this simplification, though we know that the rook and bishop is a better combination than the rook and knight, in this case, the huge difference, the huge imbalance in the position exists, which will favor black. What is that imbalance? What is that imbalance, guys? Yes, absolutely. Pawn islands and those weak pawns here, c3 and a2. These are definitely, so you can see 3 versus 2 is happening on the queen side along with the weak pawns. It's not like the pawn is here or something. This is a big imbalance. So queen e4, Nihal goes for queen d7. He declines the queen exchange. I'm not 100% sure if it is a great idea, because the queen may get some, not immediately because this will be hanging. So first c4, and white could get some attacking chances. But look at Nihal's time. He has 9 minutes and Kramnik has 6 minutes 40 seconds, which is one slight good thing to have 2.5 minutes more against the world champion. Naveen Kumawat says Amrita in Mumbai and Sagar in Delhi is the big imbalance. Funny. Jyoti says Amrita, you and Sagar are the best analysis teacher. Or I can say coaches. Whichever analysis I listen from, both of you are the best. And Sagar explains every game analysis. Thank you, Jyoti. Akshay Kumar, I think the club is at 5, and I guess by now there should be the arrangement, so please check it out. Okay, scorecard, but guys, the games are going on, so yeah, I'll add these two also in the scorecard. I think I can do that in the break, because it requires multitasking, which are the skills one needs to develop while streaming. So knight f5, and he played bishop f5. Ronak has played bishop f5, knight f5. Has it happened? Yes, this has happened on the board. Bishop takes f5, knight takes f5. It's a difficult position for black. Very sorry for the sound. Some work is going on and I don't know how disturbing it is for you guys. I'm very, very sorry, but I can't do anything about it. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. This is very crazy. Rajesh Venkat says, Amrita, if the clock goes under 5 minutes, then Nihal has an advantage. He is exceptional with the bullet skills. Yes, I think. Oh, Rook A8 is a bad move by Ronak, because right now Queen G4 is coming, threatening a mate in 1. And if you go Knight E6 over here, which is kind of forced, then Rook B3 jumps in, and the Queen is in a very, very difficult situation because it has nowhere to go on the diagonal. Only way to continue is Queen A6 or Queen A7. Whatever you play there, Rook C6, threatening Rook E6 and again the mate. So maybe makes sense to put the Queen on A6 there. But then comes a very nice move, winning material. White to play. Guys, what should you play? White to play. Vignesh, Zabi, Ashita, Anitya, Entertainment, Srini, Deepak, absolutely right. What is it called? Overload. This night is overloaded. अरे यार ये भी काम करना है, ये भी काम करना है, ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है. Chessbiz India Clips Editor, guys. So, Rook C7 will happen, and then you cannot take it because there is a mate happening there. So, that is the reason Rook A8 actually loses the material. So, Queen G4, Ronak went with G6, Knight at 6, King G7. We are at this position. Anish is winning in this game. Going back to Nihal's game, c4 was played by Kramnik as we were discussing it. Rook e8 and the queen stays on this diagonal. The long beautiful diagonal. Queen b1 is played. A very, very unclear position. Lot of imbalances are there. Lot of strategies need to be formed. Is super instructive to watch how these players are going to plan in this middle game. The world champion with the double bishops and this young super talent Nihal Sarin with this knight and bishop and the rooks here along the open file would be very interesting. Just all of you who really want to improve, try to think what plan would you have followed, how would you have maneuvered the pieces, which pieces you would have exchanged, and then try to look at this game. So that's how you are going to learn and understand. So now going to this game again, g6, knight f6, king g7 has been played. And Anish is thinking, but this is clearly winning for him in multiple ways. Like rook f3 is possible, threatening here. In fact, a very interesting idea would also be knight f7, king f7, check, king g7 and rook f6. A very interesting idea, but let's see but the simplest way to continue is rook f3. And if rook d7 here, guys, I am going to ask one more time, white to play. What should white play? Absolutely, Atul Gupta. Who is going to miss Arjun versus Magnus? No chance. What should white play? Safal, Fazil, Ashika Manohar, Manasa Vadepalli, Anitya, Rajeshwari, Jaguar, Nikhil, Sharat Kumar, Srini, absolutely right. One more time, this guy is under pressure here, and rook takes c5, removing the defender, and you win this rook. So that would be a winning move. So that's what has just happened. Rook f3 he played, king takes h6, and now rook f7 is happening with the idea of queen h4 mate. Anish is going to win this first game here. So let's move to Nihal's game right now. What's happened? Queen b1. Nihal is still thinking. He's down to 3 minutes 55 seconds. So let's have a final look at this game. Queen b4. Oops. In an X-ray form, he has prevented queen h4 mate. But comes f4, again reviving the mate, both the mates, and it's not possible to stop both of them at the same time. Gives a check. Just another desperate attempt here. But the point is, Ronak was black in this game, and in the next game he is going to be white. So that is a good thing. Queen d4 check. Anish will simply move his king to h2, and this is going to be over. Yes, one. Ronak resigns there, and Anish has beaten Ronak in the first game today of Global Chess Championship. So now we will focus only on Nihal versus Kramnik. Queen b1, and Nihal is still thinking. Oh, that is a very long thought there. How long has Nihal been thinking, guys? Anybody? Can anybody let me know? Yash Pratap says VD won against Wang Hao. Oh, that's a great result and a great news. Yes, Nihal plays Queen c8 after a very long thought. Such a backward move, not so easy to make these kind of moves. A very what to say? A very interesting move, because now he does not need to take his knight to just a5. This knight has many more opportunities opened up for him, because the queen decides that chalo, I am going to defend his bishop. So knight e5 will be very strong with the ideas of knight g4, with the ideas of putting the pressure on c4. Beautiful move by Nihal. I'm sure Kramnik has to take a bit of time. No, he goes bishop f4, and rook d8 has been played. Yes, it's a very good idea to exchange the light square bishops, because if you look at this position, which piece of white feels like, oh, this is the strongest piece? Clearly the d5 bishop. And generally, when you know that your opponent's this piece is the strongest, what you try to do is to exchange that. So definitely that was a good idea. Queen c8. Kramnik goes e4 here, solidifying the bishop on d5. But one more big thing, like it's been 23 moves, uske baad the pawn on e2 has been moved. Until now it has always been that kind of an irritant कि हर बार एक weakness है. That's why bishop f4, when this was played here, rook e2 would definitely be a point of consideration, but here it doesn't give you enough compensation. e4, Nihal goes knight e7. Wow, nice move there again, knight e7. If he would go knight e5, bishop b7, queen b7, and one more time to tell you, rook d8 and bishop e5 would just win the game. So that was not possible. So he went knight e7, bishop b7, queen b7, rook d8, and we are at this position. Nihal has initiative here, slight advantage. How does Kramnik plan to defend this if it will be attacked by 1, 2, and 3? because this bishop is dark square bishop. He can only have two pieces to support it. This is really a great play by Nihal. Everything changed with one move. Queen c8. Oh, and there it is back again. He goes queen c8. This is the hero of this game until now. c5. Kramnik wants to get rid of that weak pawn, and knight g6 there. Not to take on c5, very smart decision, because these are double pawns and would have given a lot of play on these files for white. So Nihal did not take it. He went knight g6. If you take on b6 right now, then it should be possible, maybe rook d1, queen d1, or ab6, and then you have this passer over here. You can take this, but the problem is takes. Queen takes. And guys, white to play. Find a beautiful move. I mean, there are two beautiful moves. दो बढ़िया मूव है इधर, बढ़िया बढ़िया. Yes, Rajeshwari, Shabana, Raj, Siddhant, both the moves work. You don't need to take the knight because there is b7 or ba7 and यहाँ पे queen हो रहा है. You cannot stop that. So not that. He plays rook d8, queen d8, bishop e3, h5. Nihal is completely in another mode, trying to create weaknesses यहाँ से भी वहाँ से भी. Very interesting move for the long term. Also, one more thing it does is to defend the back rank. Now Kramnik has to figure out a way. 1 minute 27 seconds for him, and Nihal also has equal time. So queen c2, h4 has been played. cb6. Slight bit of time here, maybe 5 to 10 seconds to decide what, but ab6 is more natural because you get a passer. Let's see what Nihal decides to play. Yes, h5 is definitely a beautiful move. Come on, Nihal, you have 1 minute. cb6, he decides to play cb6. ab6 was stronger, definitely stronger. But cb6 is not going to be that easy because you cannot create a passer. f4 has been played. Queen d7. Now the queen is entering the king's side. White has to be slightly careful there. But the knight here right now has nowhere to go. But it's a good knight. It's not a problem. Queen e2. Queen e2. Okay, now look at these weaknesses. Queen a4 can be a very strong idea here. Can Nihal play queen a4 with 40 seconds in hand? No, he first takes on g3. H takes g3. Knight f8. He starts rerouting because कुछ भी नहीं था scope इधर. f5. Again stopping this. You have to move the queen so that the knight comes to d7. Queen d6. Attacking g3. Bishop f4. Queen d4 check. King g2 ko knight d7. Now knight c5 is coming. e4 is going to be under pressure. But white is going to have e5, e6 counterplay there sooner or later. We have to see. But queen and knight is a dangerous combination. e5 is already played. Queen d5 check. King h2, knight c5. A good move. Nihal doesn't care about the e-pawn. Kramnik is fearing this queen. He wants to get rid of that. He wants to exchange. Nihal should not exchange the queens. Very important in 23 seconds. He should not exchange the queens. Go knight e4. Go queen d7 to attack the f5 pawn. Anything should be okay. Knight e4 definitely way stronger. All the time you wanted the knight to, zindagi mein aage badhe. He went queen d3, g4. They are playing very quickly. It's getting intense. e6 takes and going towards advantage for Nihal because this weakness there is near the king. Bishop e5. Go knight e5 with the threat of knight f3 check, winning the bishop. He goes g5. Okay, both the kings are weak, not easy. g5, bishop b8 has been played, attacking this a6, and now queen h3, threatening queen h8. Oh my god, you may have to take this and consolidate the position. Go king e7. Yes, takes, king e7. He wins a pawn, but is it enough? Is it going to be enough with this bishop and knight? What is this endgame? No, generally Kramnik should be able to hold it. Of course, still a very tough fight, but this pawn is attacked, which means this knight is occupied in defending it. The king is occupied in defending the knight. Pura tangled ho gaya everything. So these two pawns have to progress, but you can see the bishop is not just attacking, but the bishop is also stopping a5. Very hard to find a winning plan. b4 here. King f3. Go king d3. ठीक है, temporary है. Bishop cannot go and to attack the b4 pawn because then you get a4, a5. Oh, knight d2 check, king c4. For a moment, this pawn is not under attack, so black gets to do some jhol here. King f, knight f1 check, king e4. Now, can you attack this pawn on g4? King f5. It's going to be a race. Lots to calculate. King b5, he goes first. Bishop d8. Now knight h2. King f5. Is Nihal planning to give knight g4 and push his pawns? Yes. King a4. Bishop g5. King a3. Bishop e7. Now is the time to take g4. Forced move. Or maybe king a2 is possible, but he takes on g4. Doesn't want to take the risk there. Can he win this, guys? No, because the pawn will come here, then the bishop will come on c3 and it will be exchanged. It's a draw. It's a draw. Wow, with black. A very, very good game by Nihal. He found some amazing positional moves, did not give Kramnik even a bit of chance over there. In fact, Kramnik was under pressure in the whole game, in the whole second half of the game. The way he maneuvered the knight, the way he decided to exchange the pieces, I think there was a lot to learn there. And he drew this. Now he is white, which means, okay, we are very, very hopeful. Great game to witness by both of them. And over here, in the other result, Anish versus Ronak, that was also a very interesting game, complicated, but Anish ended up winning against Ronak in a very, very classy style. Hoofs. Okay. So now I will be, I don't know, how long is the break, guys? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? Let me know. In the meantime, I will be updating everything. All of you who are complaining there is no, there are no names and everything. Let me just update. कहाँ से है? कहाँ से करके गया है? Sagar Shah has not given me proper instructions. So, I have to tell him that ये नहीं चलेगा ऐसा. How do I figure out कि ये किधर बनाया किधर है उसने? ठीक है, ठीक है, फिगर आउट तो कर दिया. This and Anish Giri 1-0, Raunak Sadhwani and Nihal 0.5. The first game has ended 0.5. Okay, amazing. This is updated there. I'm hoping looks fine. I think the thumbnail has to change, so maybe I will also ask. I'll also get a new one. Just give me a very, very slight bit there. Oops, sorry. He has sent actually, so that's not a problem. I just need to replace it. So, are you guys going to give me 1 minute? And I am also going to see the chat because yes, how did you find the games GG? And I can see a lot of you were guessing the moves as well, which is great. Atul Gupta says, please explain the meaning of jhol. That's a good question. Yeah, Sagar is at Delhi right now. There is this thing YouTube Educon where they have invited a few what to say few creators who have been educating in some way. So because ChessBase India did it for chess education, they have invited Sagar to give a talk there. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, here I have. I'm just replacing the photo in 10 seconds. Then I'll be talking to you all. Perfect. That's cool. All done. Wow. Wasn't so tough. Just that I get nervous sometimes because, during doing something live and then you don't find something and then I generally panic. So just stay calm. That's what Sagar tells me. Just stay calm. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Hmm. So it's all done. So guys, when are the next games starting? Oh, one more thing I need to do, which I couldn't apply this time, was the chat chess moves. As you know that Keith, who has created it, what I need to do generally is to upload the link of this YouTube video at the end of it. So I will do that so that I will be able to ask you more questions. And of course, that's going to be amazing. But how do I update it? ठीक है, now this change. Oops. हाँ, यहाँ से got it. Nice. Amazing. Please fix the live board. क्या हो गया guys? एक सेकंड दे दो. Next round is starting. That's what people have to tell me. कि कब लाइव बोर्ड नॉट वर्किंग. नहीं अभी तक गेम शुरू नहीं हुआ है गाइस. गेम हैज नॉट येट स्टार्टेड. Let me know. In the meantime, I'm updating this chat chess move so that all of you will be able to answer. Okay, cool. Let's try whether we are getting the answers. Guys, can you write? Let's do a poll. In the next game, what do you think? What's going to happen? Kramnik versus Nihal. E E4 for Nihal wins. D4 for Kramnik wins. C4 for a draw. Naveen Kumawat says, I am forcing a 2-year-old kid to watch this match. Oh, we are getting it. So this has been done successfully, and most of the people are thinking E4. That means they are expecting in the next round Nihal to beat Kramnik. Got it. Nice. E4, D4, C4. Why don't I show it to you? Here there is. Okay, but this board I think I have still messed up, so I will figure that out too. क्या हो रहा है by the way? What was that when I did this? Wait a second. ये तो चेस बोर्ड आ गया. ठीक है. I think the board I will have to figure out something. अभी के लिए यही रखता है. ठीक है, अभी के लिए यही रखता है. चलेगा. चलो, doesn't matter. At least we'll get the answers. ठीक है, let's move to the next games. Guys, please let me know कब शुरू हो रहा है games. क्या प्लान है? What all is going on? Arjun versus Carlson. How excited are all of you? All games started. Okay. Why? How do I follow him? Amrita. 1 second. Actually, we are at his name, so I am already clicking there. Why is the game not auto starting? I'm very surprised. But anyway, let me go here again. Let me go to the games. Here they are showing only the finished games, not the actual games. So maybe I have to. Himang, me, you can maybe help me. How are you able to follow it? What is the process? I mean, live chess. Follow Nihal Sarin. I am following Nihal Sarin, but I don't think प्रेम के बाहर जा रहे हो. Okay, Raunak's game started. I think that's what you're saying. Right. So I can just click on Raunak and check the game. So I don't really need to do anything special. The same way over here also. If I go back, I will get Nihal's game as well. If it has started. So please let me know when the game starts. Until that time, we will be looking at Raunak's game. Raunak Sadhwani is white, guys. E4, C5. We have E4 on the board. Knight F3, Knight C6, Rosolimov. Actual this time, not a reverse one. Bishop G7, Rook E1, E5. He takes on C6. Anish decides to take with the D pawn. A4, Queen E7. That's what he plays quickly. A5. Ronak is like, I don't really care. A5. Look at this bind there. You cannot go B6. There is a pin down here. So, very strong pawn, which is going to limit a lot of things in black's position. D3. Castle. H3. Important move. Stopping bishop G4. Knight E8. Black maybe threatening anything like F5, or he would want to just keep it solid. Knight A3, Knight C7, Knight C4. This knight has chosen a very nice square here because both the knights put pressure on E5, and as we discussed, B5 is out of question until AB6 is happening. So F6, yeah, he goes F6. He does not want to go F5 because that would be a very bad idea. In fact, with the rook on E1, already saying कि भाई तो F5 आजा, F5 आजा, and then the pawn says कि यार क्या मैं इतना मूर्ख थोड़ी ना हूँ. So bishop E3, knight E6, C3. He also controls the square, doesn't let the knight jump to D4. Rook D8, but by doing so, he has weakened a pawn on the open file. Queen C2, Bishop D7. Bishop is kind of sad in his life. ज़्यादा कुछ स्कोप नहीं है, थोड़ी बहुत पढ़ाई हो गई है, but you know, he really needs to find his passion there. Rook FB1, Bishop goes to E8 on the journey to finding his passion, and B4 comes in. C takes B4. Black is happy because he is able to exchange the double pawns here. So it's he's very happy. White is also not very sad because he gets the open file to put the pressure on the B7 point, and this A5 pawn कब से वहाँ पे जाके बैठा है, and you know it's like restricting everything. It's happy. So C5. By the way, C takes B4 was an option, but in doing so, you are giving up the D4 square to black forever. Forever. So that's the reason Rook B4 was played. C5, and Ronak is thinking where to take his rook. Yeah, Ronak is playing solid. So Ronak is thinking here. In the meantime, please let me know if Nihal's game also begins there. Yes, it has begun. Let's have a look at it. Acha, both the games we have E4. Wow, that's nice. And Sicilian, in fact. E4, C5, Knight F3, D6, Bishop B5. Both the games again the same. Bishop B5, Bishop D7. But this time the difference is it's not Knight C6 and Bishop C6. We are in a different line. Knight F6, Knight C3, G6 and D4. It is very similar to open Sicilian, but the bishop is usually on D3 or E2 in these Maroczy bind structures. Right now it is on B5. Whom is it going to favor? Of course, this is all opening castle, Bishop D7, Knight D7, and logically it should favor white. The reason being that this bishop is not considered a very good bishop. This bishop is considered like even if the black knight comes here and takes the bishop, white is usually happy. So right now the bishops are already exchanged, and Nihal should be happy from this opening. B3 has been played. If this rook was on C8, then white had to take care of ideas like B5, though it's not possible here because the C3 knight becomes weak. Oops. Sorry. So Queen A5 was played, attacking the C3 knight, Bishop B2, A6, keeping an eye on B5, Rook E1 was played, And now e6 played by Kramnik, taking control of the d5, saying I am committing to this control, not defending you, but finding something for myself. That's what this pawn did. It's on e6 right now. Queen e2, rook c8, and rook c1, rook c8. So we are at this position. Nihal, what plan he is going to take? Is he going to keep his pawn on f3 like in Marozhibin they do? Generally, what are the 3 break points for black to break the structure of Marozhibin? Guys, can you tell me what are the 3 important moves that white has to look for? Like either dash, either dash, either dash. Oh, wow. We already have Shabadjot Singh, Chinmay Kelaskar, Himanshu Suni. But very well said. The breaks to look out for are d5, b5, oops, not b4, b5 and f5. f5 in rare cases, but black generally eyes either of the break. And if he gets that successful break, then he is usually able to equalize. So that's about the Marozhibin structure, where white puts the pawns on e4 and c4, has a bind on d5. Number of times there is a queen on c7, so it has to be alert for such ideas when the knight is on c6. In this case, of course, the knight is on d7. So Nihal plays, okay, let's see the 2 moves which happened. Rook f e8 and queen d2 was played by Nihal, putting his queen on dark square. These kind of ideas with the queen on a5 not defended, black has to take care. h5, Kramnik goes for a very again thematic thing. h5, h4, h3. Generally it is very strong when you have a bishop on b7. But right now there is no light square bishop, so Nihal has nothing to worry much. He goes h3, knight e5 now, and rook is played to d1. In fact, f4 was possible because there is no knight g4. The knight would have to go back, but again, it is something which black wants to provoke Nihal to go for f4. So once you go f4, you have to keep in the line where you have to look at e5 or f5 ideas all the time. What Nihal instead does is goes rook c d1. If you see, these 2 people are remembering that there is a weak pawn on d6. So black has to keep that in mind. Now, will Kramnik play h4 and create a bind here? Will he do that? Or will Kramnik go here to challenge the knight? Because if you take, there is rook c6 and you defended the d6 pawn. So this is again going to that kind of structure where we can see how these players are going to plan and maneuver and all of that. They are very good in positional play. Both of them are amazing positional players, guys. So definitely their games are going to be way more instructive for us to watch. Yes, let's move to Anish versus Ronak. What happened there? c5 was played by Anish. Ronak went rook b3. This bishop now got the opportunity. Now it's also defending here, keeping an eye here. Knight goes to b2. Not the best idea by Ronak here. What were the other options with him? He could have tried to play a6, attacking this pawn, and let's say b5, not b6. Suppose b5, then the a5 square is permanently with white. Though it is on the edge of the board, it is still possible to put your knight here. This was one idea. Not the best though. Rook b2, come on, this is very inhuman. You can't make the non-human, not inhuman. You cannot make such moves. So I think what Ronak played knight b2, already this position suddenly happened, like not easy to find a good plan for white. Though the pieces are all well placed, it is not easy. That's the reason the idea of kind of keeping the pressure on this file would be a good one, but very hard to find. So Ronak went a natural move, knight b2, f5 was played by Anish, e takes f5, g takes f5, and queen e2. You can look at the central pawns with the bishop eyeing here. Now the double bishop advantage of Anish is clearly visible. Rook e8, rook e1, queen c7 was played, attacking this isolated a5 pawn. Let's not forget that. Knight goes to c4, again defending it, and again putting pressure on e5. Rook d8, Anish goes for. Anish is not moving any pawn, neither to f4 nor to e4. He's waiting patiently, improving his pieces first. So rook a d8, and Ronak's move, he has to think what to do. This rook, if you look at it, still now looks like kind of jobless, because यहाँ पे तो everything is defended so well. What is it able to do? Is it the right time to bring it back? Is it the right time to move the bishop back and to actually increase pressure on e5? These are the decisions which Ronak has to make. He has 7 minutes, so time wise it is all in control. It's not like a huge difference there. Going to Nihal's game, king h1 was played by Nihal. He doesn't want the king to be on this diagonal. So knight c5, Kramnik goes for. King g1 again. What is this? What was this? King g1 again. Was it a draw offer in some way? Rook c d8. Kramnik anyway doesn't really care. He goes rook d8. As we know, keeping in mind the d5 ideas. But guys, when you play d5, you must take care that white does not get easy e5. That is important. So bishop a1 here was played by Nihal. Queen c1. Now again, if you look at this move, bishop a1, a very subtle move, going back with the bishop. Not an easy move to consider. The way Nihal handles his pieces is very interesting. So bishop a1 he went, queen c7 was played, and now he goes for knight f3. It's right now all a waiting game going on, guys. Knight f3. Lot of maneuvers are possible. As I tell you, you guys, please do think how would you like to place your pieces? What would be your plan? I am sure most of you would have gone for f4, because sitting quietly is difficult. अगर किसी को बोला अरे एक घंटा चुप बैठो, कोई चुप नहीं बैठ सकता है, राइट? वी फील लाइक अरे बात करना है, कुछ तो बात करना है, that kind of a thing. So b6, queen f4. Look at this. Again, the queen comes to this very nice square. Not usual for us to see that. यहाँ पे pressure है. But he has to find something. If Nihal needs to push further in this position to get advantage, he has to still find that missing link, which will put such a high pressure on Kramnik. Can he do that? Because the position is better for him. He has initiative, because he has space advantage, and as we know, because he has exchanged that right piece, the light square bishop. But how to take advantage of all of it? Also, this h5 is slightly weak, kidhar na kidhar to. So that way Nihal has to try to see, can he go knight g5 at the right time? Is this going to be under pressure? Is it at the right time? Is he able to kick the knight away and find ideas like c5, b5? We have to see how he's going to continue. Queen b7. 1, 2, 3 pieces attacking e4, and you have 1, 2, 3 pieces defending e4. Right now, nothing to worry. Alok Raj asks a very important question: how to make plans in chess, which is the toughest thing. But to be able to make plans in chess, the right plans, in fact, you really need to improve your understanding about the pieces and the pawn structure. Because without understanding that, it is not easy. By the way, moves are happening. We'll come to your question later. b4 and a counter attack with e5. Finally, things are getting to a commitment mode. d5 square has been given forever. Queen goes back to e3. Now, this e6 square which was vacated for the knight jumps into e6, threatening knight f4 or knight d4 in the future. Knight d5 has been played. As of now, neither knight f4 nor knight d4 is possible because of this knight here and bishop and knight here controlling both the squares. b5 has been played also because the b6 pawn is attacked. So 1 and 2, this is generally done with this bishop which is placed on e3, but right now the work is done by the queen. So b5 has been played. Knight d7 is also possible and natural. He decides to go for b5. And Kramnik actually gets b5. Is this the move which is going to give him equality? Because we had discussed this, d5, b5 or f5. And Kramnik has got b5. So is he going to get equality? It's a very, very well-timed move by Kramnik. All of his last few moves, if you see, b4 was not the right time for Nihal. There were other interesting options to consider, but on the king side, one interesting move, don't know if it is the best, but e5 would be a very interesting idea, because if he takes and you take over here and the structure is weak because there is no pawn on h7. This was possible to consider entering into a 3 versus 2 play, but b4 was played. e5 very well timed by Kramnik, and he gets out of this Maroczy structure. Beautiful, guys, beautiful. Okay, looking at Raunak versus Anish Giri, what's happening there? Knight g5 was played by Raunak. Knight f4. Anish does not want to exchange that knight there. Bishop f4, ef4. Look at this double pawns over here, but they are just too strong. And now this e file has opened up. Queen d2, rook takes e1, queen takes c1, rook e8. He's still waiting, not rushing for f3, which is going to damage the structure. Rook e8, queen d2. This is defended, so not a worry for black. Bishop goes to f6. The knight is attacked. How do you defend it? Do you want to play h4 and create another weakness? Or do you want to go back? Ronak decides to go back, though h4 could have been a better way to continue. Knight f3, king h8 is played. Very beautiful move, like really beautiful move. Look at this idea. The rook, though being on the open file, it feels like it is on the best possible place. What he does is goes king h8. It's like this rook on e8, which is in a very highly luxurious flat in Mumbai, And now king goes to h8 and he says नहीं यार I want, मुझे गाँव जाना है, बस वहाँ पे ही है पूरा सादगी. Nature, I want to be in nature. So rook g8, putting all the pressure on g2 forever, which is going to be very difficult to defend. Knight goes to e1 and it's all over, guys. Queen goes to g7. The threat. What is the threat? Are you all alert? Let's activate chat moves. Black to play. What is black's threat here? Chess player says hi from Russia. Oh, very big hi to you. Ravi Chopra says it is better to play with a bad plan than to play without a plan in chess. At least you will know what to do on the board. Absolutely. Okay. So, let me see. Oh, a lot of people have got it right. Chinmay. 1 second. Yes, there we have the chat moves. Chinmay, Aditya, Chess Donkey, Siddharth, Drone, Harsh, Unlimited, Mayuresh, Devik, and Devashish. Absolutely right move. That is not Queen G2, guys. Queen G2 would have been a blunder. Either knight hai, bhul gaye kya? So, not that one. The answer is Rook E1. First, remove the deflector, and then there is a mate on G2. So, Rook E1 was the right answer. He played King F1 right now. The point is, if Rook E1 now, then there is Queen E1, and for Queen G2, mate nahi hai. So, black, in spite of, no, black is material down and this is still unclear, but will not work. Rook E1. Oh, Anish finds a beautiful move. Guys, black to play. Can you guess? Beautiful move. Without seeing on the live board. A lot of people have mentioned f3 here. But the right move is by Vignesh, Drawn, Manoj and Omkar. Bishop g2 is the move. Beautiful move. First bishop g2. And if now knight g2, this is the time to play f3. Because look at this. All these three squares do not exist for the king. What does it say? There is a back rank idea. So if you go knight e3, then rook g8 with the threat of queen g1 mate. And if you try to run away with king e1, there is still queen g1 check. Knight to f1 is forced. But just look at this king. Horribly placed. There are so many possibilities. There is bishop g5. There is rook e8. Rook e8 is the simplest. And then you take the knight on f1. So, okay, bishop g2, knight g2, this is happened on the board. f3 has been played. He goes knight c e3, Ronak plays knight e3, and yes, fg2 is possible, but you can also play rook g1. Very quickly, if there are moves in Kramnik versus knight f6, bishop f6, maybe we will come back here because I think this is just about to finish. It seems queen h6 is played by Anish. Threatening takes and mate. And Ronak is thinking here. Knight f4. Okay, let's go to Nihal's game. Knight f6 was played by Nihal. Bishop takes f6. The knight is exchanged. C takes b5. A takes b5. All the simplifications are there in front of you, and Nihal goes for h4. He goes for h4. Very interesting move, because what his idea would be to keep his pawns on the dark squares and play g3, restrict the bishop. so that in future also he can move the knight and there is no bishop g5 coming on this diagonal. But let's not forget the pawn on a file is definitely a backward pawn and Nihal has to be careful about it. So bishop g7, queen b3. Oh, finally anyway Kramnik did transfer the bishop on this diagonal, and important point to note is the c1 square is controlled by this bishop, which is not a good thing for white, because in future the rook on c8, when it happens, white won't be able to challenge it with rook c1, nor he would be able to play rook d2 and stop it on to come to the 7th rank. So he goes bishop b2. He also wants to challenge the bishop here. Queen c6, g3 first. Very nice that all these squares do not exist for the bishop on h6, nor the knight can go there, and the d4 square is very well protected by white's pieces. Rook c8, rook d3. No, so bishop c1 is not even an idea here. It stopped. He goes rook d3, trying to go rook c3 also in the future, or maybe not even caring about it, just going rook d1 and putting pressure on the d6 file. So Kramnik has actually maneuvered his rooks, kind of shuffled them, and this is the position. 1 minute 25 seconds with Nihal, 4 minutes 55 seconds with Kramnik. Still not clear what is going to happen in this game, guys. Still not clear. Let's go to Anish's game. If there is any update, h4 has been played, just stopping that queen h3 idea. Bishop takes h4. Anish takes the pawn. Queen d1, trying to take the pawn on f3 here. Finally, the pawn had to make a decision. He takes the knight. Knight g2. Oh, I should have asked you this beautiful move. Last move, after which the resignation is there. Bishop g3. What a move. It's nothing but a discovered attack to a square. Queen h1 is the mate threat there. Cannot be stopped. And Ronak had to resign this. Anish beats Ronak 2-0. Okay. Not easy, but Anish played very well. The plans were not easy to choose for Ronak also in those positions. Let's now focus on Nihal versus Kramnik. He goes rook d1 and gives up this pawn on e4. What's the plan? Yes, he wants to take the d6 pawn. Rook takes d6 is in the air. Takes, rook d6. So one imbalance, as you can see, is the pawn structure. 2 versus 1 and black has 4 versus 3. That is the biggest imbalance we are seeing here. The king on g1, that's why is going to be weaker right now. But this is hanging. After d6 pawn is gone, the e5 is not defended. The e5 pawn is now under attack. Knight g5 to block the bishop. No, you cannot consider knight g5 because you can see there are 2 people here and you have only one. One for 2 guys. Will you be fighting 2 people if you're alone? No. So that's why. Rook e6 is also a threat. Yes, very well spotted, Shabbat. Takes, queen takes e6, and you can see that the rook on c8 is hanging. Beautiful. That's a huge amount of alertness there we have. People are suggesting queen b1 check. Anyway, okay. Queen b1 check. Yes, you can give. King can go to g2. What next? The point is this rook, Kramnik's rook, does not get to go to c1. It can go to c2, but right now e5 is also hanging. Rook e6 is also a threat. Oh, nice position. Very interesting position, but only 40 seconds with Nihal. क्या होने वाला है? Black to play. Kramnik is thinking, will the time come down to 40 seconds, equal time? ऐसा होएगा तो अच्छा है, मज़ा आएगा. You know that Kramnik has retired from chess. So, right now in time pressure, we have to see how much, Nihal is going to be stronger than Kramnik. Is it even possible? Rook c6 probably asks Mayur. Rook c6, if you play takes, queen takes, knight e5, white would be a pawn up. So no. The rook c2 is definitely possible. I think that is a good idea. Another idea could be to play queen e2. So the point is, if now rook e6, there is a very good move incoming. Very good move, which is rook c2. So the whole idea, you don't get time because queen f2, queen g2 is a mate threat. And now if you try to save rook e8 check, bishop goes there, it will go in some kind of forcing calculation, all of that. But Kramnik decides to play rook c2 directly. He goes rook c2 with a similar thing. Is it rook e6 is possible right now? In fact, it's the only move for Nihal. Will he find it? If he doesn't play that, then he's in big trouble. Nihal is going to be in big trouble. Queen e2 is incoming. Pressure on f2 there. If the queen moves from the third rank, then... Oh, he finds it. Great defense by Nihal. Rook e6 has been played. Queen e2, and we are going towards the what we were just looking at. Not to play king g7, it would be a super blunder because of bishop e5 check. Obviously, Nihal is going to see that. Not to go king h7 also, because there will be knight g5. So bishop f8, Kramnik finds the only move. Queen e3, Nihal defends the f2 pawn. Takes, rook b2. This piece is recovered by Kramnik. Knight takes e5 now. He wins the pawn, but the problem is black could not take here on b4 because there was knight d7 and he loses the bishop. So he goes king g7, a3, defending the pawn, but not the best idea there. Somehow Nihal should have played rook b8 and rook b7, going for the f7 pawn, but he plays a3, which allows this bishop to attack the knight. Very important one, very important move which I think Nihal missed. If the knight moves, then there is problem here. He loses g3. It's all about the king is also cut off. King f1, rook b3. Okay, Kramnik has not found the best move here, which is obviously very difficult. Rook a2, rook c2. We will come to that again, but rook b3, king gets some breathing space. Rook takes a3 now has been played, and a knight sits comfortably on c6, defending the b4 pawn. Rook a6, again attacking it, but obviously you are not going to move the knight. You will keep defending the b4 pawn. Rook a2 check. King goes to f2, f3. Rook c6, pinning the knight, but you don't need to move it right now. Or do you need to move it? Yes, knight a7. He goes knight a7 because the threat was anyway bishop b4. So knight a7, rook c8, knight c8, bishop b4. This knight attacks the b5 pawn, and this is all simplified. Should end in a draw. Knight e4 check. Oof. Wow, what a game these guys are playing. Amazingly instructive game. Positional, a lot of positional maneuvering and all of that. And now it has ended in a draw, guys. This game has ended in a draw. Pura sa positional karke. There was one phase which was super tactical where if one player goes wrong, it's going to be up and down. This was beautiful. Ended in a draw. I'm going to go back to those key one or two moments. Let's see. Oh, did he have 8 seconds at a point? Alex? Queen b1, king g2. Wow. What I like in the chat is a lot of you are suggesting the moves. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yes. So I'm going to. How many games will happen? 4 games. right? Please correct me, guys. Please correct me for the format. The Armageddon is very interesting though. Yes, if I go back in this game a little back at this point of time where it all, let me just take you to, yes, at this point, he played rook c2 and Nihal took on e6, which was very important. If you make any move, let's say if you make a move like bishop e5, see, the bar says it all. Queen e2, this is attacked. You don't have queen e3 because there is bishop e3. You don't have bishop d4 because there is knight d4. And the funny thing is you cannot defend this pawn. So it's lost. So rook e6 was forced. Queen e2. Rook e8 check was forced. Yeah, I wanted to show you this mate. If king h7, then knight g5. And if bishop g5, then you have queen f7 check. So this would have been a mate. So that was not possible. King g7 was not possible. He went bishop f8 here. Nihal went queen e3. Now this is forced because otherwise white would land up in a piece-up situation. And यहाँ पे maybe there was an option to take with the rook. So Nihal took with the knight, king g7, and a3 was played, but still rook b8, rook b4, rook b7, bishop d6, and after knight f7, bishop g3, there is no good discovered attack. So this would actually be even risky for white. So what Nihal played was good. In fact, way better. He played a3, bishop d6. He made a very good moves here. King f1. Somehow the position is preferred for black like anything. In fact, black is said to have winning advantage. This is the point where really does black have any winning advantage or not is a question. Like let's say he goes rook a2, attacks the a3 pawn. What can Nihal do here? What do you think of this position? Guys in the chat. What do you think of this position? Oops, sorry. I'm so stupid. I asked you a question for that position and then I shifted the board. Very sorry. Oh, result I have to update. Yes, please. No, this position, guys, it's not so easy because let's say the knight is hanging, so you don't have time to even go rook b8. This is also controlled. And if you go a move like knight c6 or something, there is bishop g3. If you play, you can't bring the king there. It's like a googly situation here. Very difficult to play. So rook a2 was a good move, and white Nihal had to be a little careful. Something like e4 takes, then getting your king. As of now, this is defended. No, this would be a little difficult for Nihal to defend. Okay, we had a great result there for Nihal, and we are witnessing some beautiful positional games as well. Now I'm updating the results because in the next game, what in Anish versus Ronak, it is important. In Anish versus Ronak, it is important that Ronak needs to win to stay in the match. So Anish has beaten Ronak in both the games. Nihal versus Kramnik is 1-1. If you can confirm whether there will be it's a 4-game match, it will be nice. Guys in the chat. Oh, we have a super chat by Sam Roberts, superstar of the night, Amrita running her own show tonight. It's hard to even say a few lines live, and look at you running the show by yourself. Thank you so much, Sam Roberts, for the encouragement there. Gabbar Singh says, after our current prodigies, who are our next set of prodigies in under 14 player is a no under 14 player is a GM now. No, not yet, but definitely we right now in the World Youth Championship, if you are aware that we had Pranav Anand who became a grandmaster. There was Ilam Parthi who also won the under 14 World Championship. Then in the little kids, we have Charvi as well. There is Ethan Vaz. So definitely we are going to see a lot more players. The major difference was the 2 years for many players during pandemic got affected. So those players who have started playing now back to back, let's see another 6 months and we'll know the whole list of players. It's a 4 game match. Himang, thank you so much for updating me on that. I'm just gonna have of water, and when the game starts please do let me know. Results are updated, all good. और क्या चल रहा है guys in the chat? What's up with you all? Anish winning? No, game has not started. No, game has started. It's about to begin. Yeah, this game is about to begin. Oh, and the games have started. E4 again. I am very happy to see E4 on the board. I love E4. So it's a pleasure to see that. Then those positional D4 openings. E4 D6 D4 G6. क्या हो रहा है? Everybody is playing modern now. And look at this, completely against the opening principles. कि भाई अपन बोलते हैं कि pawn moves only the necessary ones. And look at this. 1 2 3. Ronak is saying, no, I don't want to develop the pieces. A very, what we have seen is modern. Magnus played a lot in CCT. Liam also tried it, and it is being used in a way where a must win situation is there. Somehow they are ready to accept the, temporary worse position, but at least it is not, at least it doesn't enter into this dead drawish kind of positions, which gives them a chances. Very interesting to see so much modern happening. Modern has now become modern. So bishop e2 here. Is it going to enter in anything like King's Indian type structure? Let's see. So e5 there. Do you take here? Will Anish take here? Anish needs a draw. If it is a 4 game match, it means if this ends in a draw, then this match is over because Anish is leading 2-0. So he goes d5. He doesn't go de5, which is a good choice there. If bishop f3, because it's a closed position, maybe Ronak will take on f3, saying that knights are better in closed position. Let's see that. He could go knight e7 as well, or knight b8, knight d7 should be usual. He decides to go knight c e7 because in future it's clear that he wants this attack. Will he get that what he wants? In the meantime, the game between Nihal and Kramnik is yet to begin. They had both the games ended in a draw, so this game is going to be critical for them. c5 is a very strong move by Anish. What is Ronak going to do now? dc5 doesn't look so great. The c file is beautiful for white. He takes on f3. This exchange where as we were already talking about it, कि closed position में knights are better. Oh, and he goes bishop h6, trying to exchange another bishop, so that these two knights are fighting against this one knight and this really bad bishop. What do you do when you have a bad bishop, guys? Generally, either you try to open the center, but look at the center, it is completely blocked. Right now, there is no scope of it. Or you try to take the bishop out of that pawn chain, which means that this bishop has to be here somewhere, which could be possible, of course. Let's see. Bishop h6. And Anish is thinking. Position is already better for white because of the space advantage he is having. Should take here, bindas. Develop his queen, attack the knight on h6 again. I think that's how Anish will continue with his play. Yes, and trade the bad bishop. Raunak says absolutely you can. But in this case, black is not having any bishop to challenge, and he is definitely not going to exchange his knight with the bishop unless this bishop becomes equally strong. Bishop e2 looks good though. Bishop e2 is fine. There is also queen a4 check here, guys. Because does it force the exchange, or can black go king f8? Yeah, Ronak will not play queen d7. He'll go king f8. That's how I'll continue. So until he's thinking, Kramnik's game has begun with Nihal, or is about to begin. Kramnik is white right now. Nihal is black. Let's see which opening we are about to witness right now, while Anish is still thinking. Yeah, he plays bishop h6, knight h6. It's the simplest way to continue. Also, when you are able to develop with a threat, why not? What are the three things to remember? Checks, captures, and threats. Don't forget it. Ronak is recently we met him in Bangalore at this Waka Academy, where there was this felicitation for all these youngsters because they won the bronze in Olympiad. It was a very nice event there. Queen d2 has been played as predicted. Absolutely, you don't need to be an astrologer here. These are all understanding how the players think. Knight at g8, b4. Oh, Anish goes for b4. Anish is not at all right now caring about castle. It's taking time, because the moment he castles, Ronak's plan is going to be clear. So b4 is a very nice idea. In fact, Anish also has such ideas of h4, h5, because there is a hook created and no dark squared bishop. So it is interesting. So anytime Anish will play h4, Ronak will have to play h5. Otherwise, it could become dangerous. Will Ronak start with f5 right now? Though it's going to be very risky, but that's what he needs to take. Risk. Oh, by the way, Nihal Sarin's game is not yet started. Nishita says, I met Ronak at Mumbai's Mayor's Cup in 2016. The only thing he is good at is memorizing moves, not chess. Not a natural talent. No, I don't think you can have the moves memorized only and reach this level. It's impossible. You cannot become a grandmaster with only memorizing the moves. So you need to, have a lot of other abilities. So yeah, many times. No, but I don't think so. b4, h5. castle. Okay, he played h5 before itself. Ronak played h5 before. King f8 and a4. It's a very sad situation right now for him because he is in a must win situation. Two pieces are already exchanged. He doesn't have space right now. He doesn't have too many attacking chances as well. He needs to play a move like f5 to create a lot of tension, but the move already in itself is a very risky move. That's what he is going to, he has to do eventually. A5 f5, yes, that's there on the board. Eventually he has played. Yes, so f5 finally on the board. E takes f5, knight takes f5, bishop e4. Anish has played. Is he threatening? No, he can just simply play rook e1, f4, weaken the king. Knight d4 was played by Ronak here. I think Anish will continue with rook a1. Just look at the space advantage. Just look at his development. Black needs to develop two more pieces in order to connect his rooks. But that is not the only task. He doesn't. The position is pretty much exposed for his king. If white begins with, trying to take the f4 break, I doubt if Ronak is going to be able to defend it. Or can he play something which is unbelievable move, g5, stopping f4, rook a1. Yes, he plays g5. It doesn't matter if it is the best or not in this position anyway. What matters is at least you need to feel that you are in the game. You need to stop your opponent's plans. So f4 was a big plan and it was not easy to face the move like f4. So g5 is played, but in order to do so, this diagonal has become very weak. The first move which comes to the mind would be bishop b1. Oops, not queen c2, queen d3, queen g6. These are the ideas. What is going on with Kramnik versus Nihal? Let's look at the game. It has started. c4, knight f6, knight c3, e5. We have English opening on the board and not bishop b4, bishop c3 like previously. Nihal has developed his bishop on c5 this time. Bishop g2, castle, rook e8, a3, a5. Of course, you have to stop b4. He goes for e3. Is d4 threatened? Takes, bishop moves back, but not really. Doesn't really, white won't really achieve much. Maybe you can just simply take the bishop back after d4 and then you can threaten e4. So Kramnik plays h3, stopping bishop g4, and Nihal is thinking right now. Makes sense to take the bishop back. Exactly, he did that so that d4 doesn't come with an attack. Kramnik goes b3 here. Interesting idea would be d5, and if these exchanges happen, it's almost like reverse Sicilian, guys. You can see here this structure. If the c pawn gets exchanged, no, but Kramnik doesn't allow it. He says I am going to take the center control. He plays d4 himself, and now can black play e4? That's the question. By the way, knight e7 may not have been the best idea. d5 was definitely to be considered. Takes, and important question is there any discovered attack? Not at all. There is no discovered attack. It looks safe. So d5 was definitely something to consider, and there is no time for knight e5 because c3 is hanging. Would have been a nice idea. He plays knight e7. Of course, a fine move. d4 was a very well timed move by Kramnik, because once you think that अरे d3 आ गया है, So he's forgotten about d4. No, it's not like that. He's super alert for these ideas here, because if black gets d5, abhi to takes, it would become a little difficult for white. So very, very nice move by Kramnik. E takes d4, and most probably he will take with the knight here, so that he gets the semi-open file. Eventually he'll have this knight e4 ideas. So that's what I think he's going to do. And the bishop no, he goes for e takes d4. c6 is played by Nihal here, because knight d4 was important. He plays e takes d4, c6, nice move, taking away the little squares for the knight. Rook e1 is played, and Nihal is thinking here. He has some questions here. Should he play d5 and ask for commitment here? Yes, he does play d5. He has asked for commitment here. If c5, if Kramnik plays c5, then the bishop sits very beautifully on this diagonal. And these ideas are going to be in the air. So Kramnik definitely won't play c5. Kramnik will either develop the bishop to b2, or he could try to think of rook a2 maneuver first and then go bishop b2. These would be interesting ideas out there. But lovely move by Nihal. And you see both the players, when Kramnik played d4, that was an amazing timing. When Nihal plays d5, it's an amazing timing. They have this sense of center and a sense of timing. This is something to learn from them. Okay, let's go to Ronak's game. What's happening? He played rook a1, as we were predicting, g5, knight e2. Anish says कि this is the only piece which कुछ तो कर रहा है in your life. This is the only breadwinner. And I don't want it on the board. The strongest piece, take it away. Take it away when you get a chance. Challenge it, exchange it. Queen f6, rook c1. He changes the plan. Now f4 was stopped by Ronak here with the g5 move. So he's not at all intending anything there on the king side. He just shifts his rook to c1, threatening takes and rook c7. So knight e7 Ronak goes for. First Anish goes rook e3. Again with very nice ideas. This rook is going to shift. All these look very good. Even c3 if required. So Ronak goes g4, stops rook f3. अरे यार. C takes d6, c takes d6, and now the rook comes to the 7th heaven. This knight is pinned. What is the king going to do? Rook c8. No, he doesn't challenge the rook. Why doesn't he go and challenge the rook? Rook at c8. Because it doesn't matter, you're going to take the pawn. You're going to lose material. So he first plays rook a b8 with the intention of challenging it. But the other rook comes in to the defense. So rook c8 now would not make sense, because white is going to do nothing. b6 is played, and a beautiful move by Anish. b5. Look at this 4 square. This is a theme which all of you should keep in mind. This theme. Anytime you see the 3 pawns, anytime you see these 3 pawns, always consider a move like the pawn push, completing the square. So anytime you see the triangle like thing, always consider completing the square. Just calculate. It's not like all the time it's going to work, but when it works, it's like you're gonna feel proud of yourself कि क्या ही move find किया. So b5, a beautiful move there, because if you play ab5, ये चलते रहेगा. a6, a7, going to be very difficult. So ba5, b takes a6, and rook b4. Some activity for Ronak's rook over there, but Anish doesn't care. He goes queen c2, tripling on the c file. No scope to challenge the rook on c7 anymore. Wow. This is huge advantage for Anish. So it means that if he is able to beat Ronak, the third game, which is a back-to-back third game, this match is over, and it is not easy to beat Ronak like this. So definitely Anish is in amazing form. He's definitely in a brilliant form. Rook e7 is the threat kya? Queen c2. Right now queen g5 has been played. Let's check. If you go rook e7, queen e7 and rook c7 here. Oh guys, what is the move that black can play to defend? That's a good question. What should black play? Well spotted. Tremendous, tremendous. All of you are alert. Mahesh, Sanya, Shaibi, Shabajot, Chinmay, Harsh, Aditya, Pratik, Vardhan, and Ashika. Well done. Rook b1 check. Here there is a back rank mate, so you have to take, and by taking, you are actually losing this piece there, and black lands up in a exchange of position. So that's not a threat, but it was an important question. So Anish played h4, and we have a resignation from Ronak. He resigned because exactly the threat is revived. Rook e7, queen e7, rook c7, and at this time if you give a check, the king will simply go to h2 and black will lose the queen. So there is no defense for h4. Even if you go queen h4, it would have been the same thing. Takes, rook c7, rook b1 check, king h2, and there is no check. So Ronak resigned. The match is over, I believe. And just brilliant play by Anish. Definitely sad for Ronak because he was not able to win a game. Happens, but sometimes it does happen. Can we move to Kramnik's and Nihal's game? D5 was played. How did Kramnik answer? Oh, he went rook a2. We had discussed the two choices. D takes c4. Nihal actually releases the tension. There was a possibility for him to, sustain it for a bit longer by maybe playing bishop e6 and putting pressure here. Let's say bishop e6. My threat is to take, and win the pawn. What would a white have done here? I'm wondering, because how will he defend, or does he not need to defend this pawn? If d takes c5, oh my god, guys, this is true. If takes and black is a pawn up, but this is a very interesting positional sack which white had in his hand. That is rook e6, f e6, and then taking the pawn. And this is a possibility to play, block this pawn, go, no, maybe just retain this. Oh, it's tough. It's positionally ultimately tough, in fact. So Kramnik did not go for it. I mean, Nihal did not go for it anyway. He went d takes c4, b takes c4, and now he played bishop e6. The difference is, if rook e6, yes, it was possible, rook e6, f e6, but right now Kramnik doesn't need to do that. He goes bishop f1, queen d7, and knight a4. Because bishop c7 would lead to knight c5. So that is why it was important to stay on this diagonal and not allow knight c5. He plays knight c5 anyway, but you can now take here, take here. And is black winning a pawn? Is Nihal winning a pawn? Bishop h3. What is Kramnik's plan there? Did he miss that? Did he blunder the pawn? Seems like that. Very much seems like he blundered the pawn. Otherwise, why will he play knight c5? He could have gone knight e5, attacking the queen there. Oh, wow. What is Nihal thinking? He has 7 minutes. Lot of time in hand. Oh, should he do queen d1? takes and knight e4 trying to win this pawn on c5? That is also a question there. Oh, by the way, here instead of live board, there are chat moves. How many of you are right now using uh, the live board, guys? Do you really need it? Okay, I'll look at it later. But for now, live board, no. We don't do well with suspense. ठीक है, you all want the live board क्या? Fine, let me just get it in a... Yeah, we have it. We have it there. The live board is there. Cool, that's done. सबकी मांगे पूरी हो गई है. Now, time to focus. Wow, he's taking a lot of time. He's come down to 5 minutes. It's been at least 3 to 4 minutes. He's thinking. He has two main choices here. Take the queen on d1, rook d1, and go knight e4, attacking this pawn there. Also threatening a fork here. Let's say, let me show you the variation. Take, and knight e4. These are the two ideas. So you need to do something. You have to give up the c5 pawn, or you do what you do is counter attack. You actually stop the fork and you attack the b7 pawn. So this would stay very unclear at this point of time, and a lot of calculations of course are required. Hence, what Nihal should actually play is bishop takes h3, because when you play bishop h3, queen d7, of course this is a bad idea, bishop d7, rook b2. Yes, white definitely has slight compensation because this is attacked, and to defend it is not easy. You cannot take this rook here because the knight is hanging. If you take the rook a b8, then there is bishop f4, this rook is attacked and you lose the pawn. So it's not like your b7 pawn is not under attack. That is under attack. And you will actually have to decide to give it up and go for active play. So that's what he's calculating. It's a crucial position. So it's great that he's taking time, and he's chosen to continue with bishop h3 after almost 5 minutes of thought. So I think this is the moment when even Kramnik will have to think. He has bishop h3. He also has rook d2 ideas. But sorry, he doesn't have bishop h3. What am I saying? That's not the best move. Queen d7 is something which Kramnik should play, followed by rook b2. Nihal is going to get some time to calculate. Oh, Anish! Oh, Anish! Hi! Oh, Amrita in the house. What's up with Sagar? He finally taking rest. All good. Anish is... Anish today he's gone to Delhi. There is a YouTube EduCon happening where he has to give some speech there. So he's gone in the morning. He had a big story, crazy story, how he was not getting to go in the flight and all of that. But finally he managed to reach, and at night he will join. But by the way, what an amazing play by you. 3 games. You just played brilliant chess. So it was great to see your games. Had a lot of fun. Never easy to beat Ronak in this style. I was kidding about Sagar taking rest. Oh yeah, I think if he achieves that, then it will come in his biodata as an achievement. So amazing. Thanks for writing in the chat, by the way. So Kramnik has come down to 7 minutes. I am expecting another 1 or 2 minutes. He's going to think. Uh, no, 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 no. He actually doesn't. I was completely wrong. Queen takes d7. He takes bishop d7. It is very natural for him. How to continue? Rook b2. I like the way the pieces are all placed here. This rook is very active. This rook is defending. This rook is again in an attacking position. As we know, generally the pieces which are in attacking position are valued slightly more than the defenders. So every piece here has a different duty. Rook b2 के बाद, that's why bishop g4 is an interesting idea. Bishop c8 is there. It's a little passive, but you defend your pawn. I don't like it very much because the pieces look like malnourished in some way. So yeah, I don't like that. Let's see. He has played rook b2. Nihal has to really take care of his time because the time difference is increasing. Rook b2. What else Nihal has? Can he simply ignore this and maybe try taking the knight somewhere? Knight g6 or knight f5? Wherever it goes, if it goes to g6, still not easy to get to any of the square immediately. If it goes to f5, वहाँ पे भी काफ़ी control है. But let's say he goes knight g6 there, rook takes b7, bishop g4. That bishop, so definitely you want it to be way more active, and you cannot move this knight because the rook on e1 will fall. Yeah, some of the ideas. Nihal goes bishop g4, rook b7, and he takes the f3 knight. He decides to give up the e7 knight. So it's gonna be takes, 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 which has happened on the board, and the rook will go to either b8 or d8, intending to land up somewhere there. And look at this bishop. Wow, are there going to be any mating nets here? That could be interesting. But the good part is c6 is well defended. Otherwise, these two would be absolutely running after c8. असली अनीश गिरी, अनीश मैं हूँ, मार्क इधर है. भाई सुपर चैट वाले तुम लोग सब बहुत ही क्रिएटिव हो. नाइस. Rook d8. He played rook d8. Now the threat is rook d1. You don't want this guy here for a long time. Go and attack him. Rook e3. But if you go rook e3, is it possible to keep this bishop on this diagonal? Yes, but then bishop b2 with the idea of taking out a defender, and e4 will be hanging at that point of time. So in any case, look at this point, you will have to leave the diagonal. You will have to leave the diagonal because there are no any other squares. So not like the bishop is able to stay there. So Kramnik is definitely going to play rook e3. I doubt that he won't. I mean, if he doesn't, then what else does he have? Maybe first bishop e2? First bishop e2? Not a good idea. Favors black. Why, guys? Oh, nice move for black here. Knight g4, and it stops rook e3. So you are able to retain the bishop here, and you have also discarded any ideas of bishop f6. So Kramnik plays rook e3. He does play that. Rook d1 by Nihal. It's like, you can take my bishop. I am taking your bishop. I have pressure here. Your bishop is pinned. Nice move. Rook d1. Yes, knight g4. Pritham, you were right. They have drawn both the games, and this also seems like going into a equal sort of thing. Bishop b2 has been played. Nihal saves the bishop to bishop g4, king g2, double bishop versus bishop and knight. But major difference is this doubled pawn here. It's like Nihal is having one extra pawn kind of a feeling there. Is it easy? Because the c6 pawn is very weak. The c6 pawn is very weak. Bishop goes to e6 now. Oh my god, is it going to give Kramnik some kind of an advantage? Because of this idea of exchanging the rooks. Who, guys, right now, for whom do you think this position is better? And forget the bar, but if you are playing the game, would you prefer white or black? Would you prefer Nihal or Kramnik in this position? Nihal, bishop pair. Black, black, white, 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 black. Okay. Rook d3 traps the rook for a trade. Ouch. I take white. Oh, Anish prefers white. And he has played rook d3. Yeah, he says he traps the rook for the trade. A nice way to put it. Because if rook e1 would be a super blunder. Check, check, and there comes bishop d3. You cannot play g6, this is hanging. Bishop f5 not possible. Knight e4 of course possible, but then f3. Wow, so that's a forced trade. So rook d3 happened, rook d3, bishop d3, knight d7. The a5 pawn is weak. I'm worried for black. Yeah, actually this is weak. How do you defend there on the edge? The knight needs to be on b7, which is impossible to reach. Same with b3, but then you cannot attack with bishop c3 because then you lose the c5 pawn. He goes f5 here. What? Rook e1. No, that was my variation. Sorry. He goes f5. Oh, 40 seconds with Nihal. Moves are happening, but they are not updating that. Bishop e2. Yeah, bishop e2. What is the plan? Is he going to shift the bishop here to attack? नहीं, इतना लंबा ज़रूरत नहीं है. There is a simple bishop f3 there. c6. How do you defend it? Knight b8 means bishop e5. And if you lose the c6 pawn, it's lost. Bishop e2. What do you do? g5. Bishop f3. Am I missing something? If g5, bishop f3, knight b8, bishop e5. Ah, you have a nice move. Intermezzo is g4. It's counter-attacking. So, is the game going on? Yeah, knight b8. Just a moment, guys. It's not updating in my thing. Bishop e5. Knight d7. We have reached this position. Bishop d6. Bishop takes c4. Oh, it's going to be very difficult with that c passer. But the computer says it is equal. Why? Because the king is near to the weakness. That's the reason. I thought Nihal was a favorite, but it seems that rapid is still tough time for Kramnik to control the kid. Tight match. Tight match. Yeah, that is true. Bishop a4. Bishop d5 check. So this is ending in a draw. Or too soon. Maybe too soon to say. King goes back. Stop the king. Bishop f3 for a moment. Then bring your king, can you do that? Or c6 would be a danger. No, you can't do that. He goes king f1, g5. Nihal looks okay now. Yeah, bishop d5, knight e5. Okay, yeah, knight e5. Bishop e5. So Nihal has been able to defend this. Once the game is over, I would like to check where did Kramnik, did he have any moment, Anish, where he missed something? Knight e5 has happened on the board. 16 seconds, I don't think really matters now. I don't know. I was scrolling Twitter and missed that moment. Oh my god. Super funny. I thought you would have tweeted also something or not yet. After beating Ronak maybe. Bishop c7, knight c6 there. And this is defended. Nothing to worry for Nihal. King comes here to e3. Then black will start his extra pawn. Let's not forget that. h5, h4. Any chances of Kramnik's jumble dumble? Very difficult. King e3, h5 has been played. f4. Oh, do you go h4 right now? Of course I tweeted. Oh, guys, what has Anish tweeted? Babysitting experience. Nice. h4. fg5, h3, and they're playing quickly. g4, knight e5. Oh, gf5, king f5. Is white getting any ideas or what? Let's say gf5, king f5, bishop, nah, g5, bishop c2 check. You can't take on g5, and if king e6, g6, h2, g7, h1 queen, then g8 queen. So not h1 queen, important is king d7, stop this guy. Okay, let me not analyze, let me check what happened. Bishop c2. Oh, this has happened. This has happened on the board. King d7. Yes, it is suddenly super sharp. Looks like black is winning, but probably there is some miracle save. I predict 0-1. Oh, good news for us. As of now, bishop e4. Bishop e4. g8 queen, h1 queen. Check. My god. This is super crazy position we are having on the board. Wow, Kramnik so sharp. Found a defense on seconds. 4 seconds, guys, he's having in hand. Just scrolling through the moves there. Queen g4. King e5, queen f5 check. Is there any mating idea? Oh, that's a blunder. Queen f4. Oh, oh my god, amazing. That was a blunder by Kramnik. Very, very sad, of course, for him. But here he played for queen g4. It was important to defend the bishop. I mean, anyway, come on, you can move the bishop or you can defend it. There are hundreds of things, but he blundered king e5. Queen check, king takes, and this is over. Oh my god, I cannot believe this actually happened. Great news for all of us. Nihal beats Kramnik, so it is the. Let me update the score. And as Anish had predicted, Nihal versus Kramnik on seconds. That just not. Anish is Amrita surprised. I called that like half an hour ago. Queen g6, f6. Great. I think all of you got Anish's commentary in the chat. So it was super fun. Yeah, like Kasparov Hikaru, 0-1 in St. Louis. Very similar. Good point. But Anish, I thought like Kramnik was almost defending there. He had so many easier ways to draw. Maybe that's what I am thinking. Didn't get to analyze it well. I think that there was some issue in my chess.com again and again. It was going to one wrong position stupidly. But this blunder is obvious, right? If you are playing with Nihal in that time pressure. Nihal Sarin 2, Kramnik 1. That's the result. Oh, I have to update Anish's score also. 3-0. Okay. He says it's not about position, it's just hard for someone with so little experience to make any move at all in 2 seconds increment. Yeah, 2 seconds increment is tough. Guys, I want to take you back to that position where it started with g7. यहाँ तक everything is fine. g7, king d7 was played. Bishop e4. Bishop e4. Why did he not play? Of course, he had to deflect the bishop. So bishop e4, bishop e4, queens, queens, queen g7 check, and he recovers the knight here. It's opposite color bishop. White has one extra pawn, but obviously perpetual is almost unstoppable. King goes to f4. Okay, it's no point because there are multiple ways for to draw. So it's just plain simple blunder in time pressure. Thank you so much, Anish, for giving your insights and actually predicting in some way that black is getting better position. So now we don't have a third game, so I'm closing this game. And this game will start in a few minutes. So I will, until that time, talk to you guys. So little bullet experience. Anish, we are thinking of hiring an editor who will be focused only on your all your streams, converting everything into clips. How do you like the plan? So we are at the final round, guys. Kramnik versus Nihal here, and Nihal needs only a draw. I think is white. It's not at all going to be tough, I believe. And I doubt if the game is going to go to the Armageddon. And yes, all of you do not forget that tonight at 9:30 we have Arjun versus Carlson. That's the final match. We will have Sagar Shah joining from Delhi through a Zoom link. So he will be there. Nadir. Maybe I should put a no. At that point only we will put a poll for Arjun versus Magnus. What you guys would be thinking? The new recording camera is excellent quality. ये नया नहीं है, ये पुराना ही है guys. It's not new because the other one the computer was lagging and it was hanging, so kind of didn't want to take the risk when Sagar is not here. What all happening with you guys? Are you all going to come at night 9:30 to watch the live game? Anime Clip says, I am planning to play chess in official FIDE matches in college as a hobby. Is it possible or is it too late? Of course, not too late. In college, if you want to play, then you can start with some tournaments and inter college events also. That would be great. In fact, because you have to play on the board if you really want to. If you really want to improve at chess, if you play 9 games in one tournament on the board, that is going to be way better than playing 100 games online, because the stress level over there is definitely different. So all of you, any tournaments you're playing? What are your favorite openings, by the way? Guys in the chat, what are your favorite openings? Okay, let me take a poll. Do you all like e4 or d4 or c4 or nf3? Actually, what is the first move you like? So ये तो poll बनता ही है chat chess moves पे. Okay, not a poll but on chat chess moves. Let me first clear the old one, clear all the moves here, and let's see on big screen. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me show it to you all. So we have, come on guys, 800 people are there. You have to do that effort. Don't be lazy. Right there. Which is the first move that you like? Do you like to play e4 or d4 or whatever? All these options are there. थोड़ा तो लिखो यार, मेहनत करो. Some effort, some effort. पता चल जाएगा. What we can do is e4 right now has majority followed by d4. That's cool. I'm तो 100% for e4. But d4 अभी बढ़ रहा है. c4 very few. b3 knight f3 c5 g4. बाकी सब मूव्स जो बोलेंगे वो अभी अभी शुरुआत किया रहेगा चेस का. कैन गेस इट. बढ़िया. Okay, so it's very close. Oh, in fact, now it is 33:35. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes more. We will wait. Oh my god, d4 is overtaking. 1 minute दे दो guys. Still very close. We'll end our poll until when the game begins. Okay, very surprising is that knight f3 बहुत ही नीचे है. Knight f3, oh no, actually it is showing 2, but there are already 5 names. Maybe this number also could be slightly different. But what I understand is e4 and d4 majorly. Baki c4 and everything not really. Got it. I got it. Let's go back to the global chess board. This was the final position. Oops. For all those who have joined in, it was going towards a draw, and then in time pressure, in increment of 2 seconds, Kramnik actually blundered at this point with king e5, and the move which was queen f5 check, you lose the piece, and he resigned. So that's what happened. And now we are going to move towards the fourth game, Nihal versus Kramnik. Now we have understood that they both are very, very positional players. I mean, of course, we know that, but we have been able to witness that on the board. The planning, the strategizing, the maneuvers, beautiful. And suddenly, in each and every game, absolutely each and every game of theirs, towards the end, it became very tactical and very precise. So, by the way, guys, I want to tell you this, that we have launched the Help Chess website, and thank you to all of you who have been contributing over there. It's wonderful. At night, I will have the widget and everything over there, but for now, I'm just thanking all of you who have contributed towards Indian chess. Very kind of you. लाइव बोर्ड लेके आती हूँ एंड देन वी विल what is the new oh, games have started. Chalo chalo chalo, just started. d4, knight f6. Nihal is white here, he needs a draw. Knight f3, bishop f4, London system. That's what we are seeing right now, the very solid London system. Oh, and Kramnik is actually thinking here, so he must be choosing, yeah, what a lot of lines, possible lines to go for. He goes b6. So Nihal goes h3, bishop b7. h3 is you create a square for your bishop. Bishop b7, knight d2. It's going to go bishop d3, c3, e4 or something. Maybe challenge the center now. Black has castled already, so c5 sounds like a good move there. Yes, he goes c5. Castle. d5. Will he play d5 or will he wait and not commit the pawn to d5? What do you think? No, he takes on d4. He actually releases the tension, which is good for Nihal. Of course, all of this is opening preparation. Look at Nihal's time. He still has 15 minutes in hand. c3 has been played. The question is whether Kramnik decides to play d6 or d5. He goes for d6 because after taking here, wanting to go d5 may not have been a very good idea. So this is nice. d6. He's going to take this structure, I believe. Rook c8, good. Put the pawn on e6. Maybe a6 is not needed, I thought, because there is no knight coming to b5. But in any case, he goes a6. Actually, it's good for white now. I mean, the engine loves it. I'm not sure if this is very normal play, but it should be. As Kramnik is playing, have no doubts about it. Rajesh asks, who will Nihal play next if he wins today? I think that's a good question. I don't know, but maybe the people in the chat can help. Whom is he playing? It's all about, again, maneuvering and taking these calls where you want which piece do you want to exchange. You see all the minor pieces are there on the board. a4, knight f8 already started defending this h7, but also going knight g6 in the future. Is white going to keep his bishop on this diagonal? Is he going to put pressure here, or is he going to try something like c4, let's say, going for d5 ideas, queen side expansion? What do you think? Or is he going to go b4? So many ideas. c4 is one, b4 is one. Consider it like your game. If you really want to improve in chess, consider like your game and try to think what would you do. It's not about finding one move, it's about finding a plan. Oh, he's going to play ding. Wow, that would be epic. Nihal versus ding. Yes, you'll play rook c1 and he goes knight e4. Doesn't touch the pawns as yet. Knight e4, knight d5 has been played. So now you have to develop your queen. Queen c2 means these ideas of rook c8, knight b4 would be kind of not so welcoming. So maybe, do you want to delay the queen development? Do you want to go rook c1? Do you want to keep the bishop on b1? Eventually something like this, or just bishop on b1 and trying to expand. Those are also some of the options. But at the right time, he will decide to push the pawns. Right now, he goes queen b3. Nice move. Development for white is complete. Rooks are connected. Now, definitely c4 could be in the air because the knight can't go to f4, nor it can go to b4. Both the squares are well controlled. It will have to run back. And then, can you get d5? So queen b3 is played. Let's assume that, okay, he goes knight g6 and Nihal goes bishop f1. But my question would be whether right now c4 could be a possibility. No, because knight is threatening to come to f4. That's why knight g6 was played. So he first goes bishop f1. And now one of the knight this knight cannot come here on f4 because it would be a big blunder, removing the defender. So this knight can come to f4. And then white has a big question. Nihal has a big question. How is he planning to develop? How is he planning to improve his position? Where does he want his pieces? Where does he? It's all lot of questions here. Do you want to rook on c1 or do you want to rook on d1? Because if you want to go c4 d5 in the future, you may prefer it to have on d1. So it's bishop f1, he goes rook c8 there. He doesn't, Kramnik does not go knight f4, which was a nice move. I am wondering why he did not go knight f4. And right now, Nihal also has this idea of going a5 because there is a pin down here. You cannot take it and b5 would be forced. Still, a crazy move would be c4. Just as an idea, you cannot take here, and this also you cannot take. So this is interesting to keep in mind as a concept. A5 at some point, or c4 a5 is also another idea. So all of these things are happening. Rook c8. Nihal is thinking whether he will go c4 or a5 is a possibility. Whether he will completely not go for anything flashy and just play something simple. Let's say he goes a move like rook c1. Then, knowing what white's ideas are, one move which we know is very powerful for black is knight f4. But the other move which can be considered is a5, giving a full stop to all the a5 ideas forever. And this could be very well possible even if you are giving up the b5 square. Worth considering. Nihal is thinking right now. He's down to 11 minutes. h4. What is the chat suggesting moves here? h4 was a threat. कहाँ पे? Oh, why there is no live board? Once again, है ना? Live board नहीं आया? Oopsie. Correct. I mean, the board is there, but it's not live. I will replace it. Very sorry for that. Yes, there you go. a5 Sudipta. Raunak says rook d1. I have changed the live board now. a5 rook d1. Yeah, I also feel that this is a good time to try to start with something. a5 or c4. This is a good time for it. I'm taking a 1 minute break. I cannot talk while I'm eating, unlike Sagar. And Nihal has come down to 8 minutes actually. Graham Bauer asks, जेवणमध्ये काय बनवलं ताई? He asks, what did I have for lunch? It's not possible to answer in English. So, मी धिरड आणि ताक असं सिंपल जेवण जेवले. ग्रॅहम पवार. Okay, he played. Nihal makes a move. He goes knight e d2 after a long thought. After a long thought. So, what is his idea? Why has he decided to shift his knight to d2? Can anyone in the chat tell me? I'm getting two ideas from people. Yes, c4 was an idea which we were talking about. But one more idea with this knight d2 is shifting the knight to c4 and eyeing this weakness over here, which is a very interesting possibility again. So, also, as we were discussing, ki anytime a5 comes, though the b5 square is weak, it wouldn't matter much. But if this knight is on c4, then it would definitely matter. Why? Because you have a beautiful maneuver taking you to the right destination. So what he plays, what Kramnik goes is knight d f4. He finally goes knight d f4, though not at the best moment, but a5 was another possibility. But he plays knight d f4. And now, guys, Nihal does not leave this chance. He goes for a5, the move we were waiting for. It's gonna get sharp now because b6 is hanging. You don't want to play b5 because c4 there is a pin over here and b5 will be lost. You don't want that. So what he plays is a5. Has it happened on the board? No, not yet. I don't think so. But if you don't play b5, then what else do you have? How should black defend? Wow, all of you are pretty alert. It has happened on the live board. Okay, perfect. So b5 has happened. Oh, wow, guys, that is amazing. Kramnik actually played b5, which is definitely a move, very quick move in that sense. But what he should have played was not an easy move. Rook b8. I can't even say he should have played because I have to still analyze, and it may be even worse than the move he played. And if a takes b6, the point is you recover the pawn in this manner. Queen takes b6. But even when you do so, the thing to remember is there is this b2 weakness and there is this a6 weakness. So after rook b8, b4 is played and your weakness is just gone. But this weakness stays. So eventually black is going to lose the a6 pawn. So this also was not really helping. Rook b8 was also not helping. For a5, what else was option? Could Kramnik play takes and then b5 so that now c4 is not a direct threat, or is it going to convert? Because yeah, it doesn't really matter because even if you take here, the main point is after bishop c4 you have this weakness. So now looking back again, matlab, in hindsight we can say important was, though slightly worse, but a5 was an important move for Kramnik to play. It was very critical to not allow all of this because positionally what Nihal has got is almost crushing. This move, even though it weakens in whichever way, had to keep control of those squares, had to stop the c4 ideas, had to retain this bishop on b7. Not at all an easy positional decision, because as a positional decision it is a very bad decision. You're just giving up this b5 square and accepting this b6 for a lifetime. So what I think it's a great learning here. b5, c4, rook b8 was played by Kramnik. Nihal took on b5 here. ab5 and a6. कहाँ जाएगा बिशप? बिशप गोज टू a8 एंड a7. इसको देखो, ये बस आगे बढ़ता ही जा रहा है. दिस इज अ प्रोडिजी. दिस गाय इज अ प्रोडिजी. Amazing. This is weak. As I say, what is this bishop doing? I have a term for that, guys. What is he doing here? बिशप f1 का क्या कर रहा है? Oh, Shashwat Tripathi, amazing. It means you have been listening to my commentaries carefully. Work from home, guys. This bishop is doing work from home, like what I am doing. घर पे बैठे बैठे इधर b5 पे अटैक. So, अरे Arnold is saying chilling. Devi Charan is saying watching. Yes, that is also true. Actually, I am also chilling here while doing work from home. But yeah, this is work from home. All those pieces who have not developed from their respective squares, yet they are threatening or attacking something, those pieces are working from home. That is what is the... Well, he played a7 ko rook b6. Kramnik went rook b7 and Nihal chopped the pawn happily. Tell me, is Nihal going to win this game as well? Seems like that. Nihal is on the verge of beating former world champion Vladmir Kramnik. Brilliant. This is so brilliant. I mean, as Anish said, that yes, Nihal would be the favorite there, but still to actually, make it happen is never easy. लाइव बोर्ड हो गया है, लाइव बोर्ड हो गया है गाइस, हो गया है, अभी है, जस्ट चेक इट. राजेश आस्किंग, हेलो अमृता, आज अकेले जहाज को संभाल रही हो? अभी तक तो हाँ, डूब न जाए, बस यही उम्मीद. And bishop g5 is a bad move here. Of course, there is not much that Kramnik can do. I mean, you are in a must-win situation. Yeah, you are in a must-win situation. That too with black, that too with such a position. Very hard to play already. So bishop g5. यहाँ पे Nihal has a few good moves. Guys, you are winning. Okay, many of us always keep asking, what do? I don't win winning positions. So exactly, Nihal is winning. What you can do is try to guess his moves. क्या खेलोगे? If you are Nihal, what is your move? Every time ask yourself this question. Tell me, what is your move? Why is live board dead? Oh, maybe I'll refresh. Yes, live board is alive now. You will think of rook a6, then bishop e8, knight d4, d5. I have some moves which have been suggested. अभी जो बोला bishop e8, Of course you are going to lose winning games because here you are not alert. तुम्हारी queen मर रही है. You're losing your queen. You have to be alert. So if you are losing the games, tactics you have to work on. Queen a4 has been also suggested. Yes, possible moves, but is it going to give any play for your opponent? What are your opponent's ideas? Not really. यहाँ पे you have bishop e8. Possible move. All those who said knight c4, yes, a very nice move. You are attacking the rook on b6. It's definitely a move which can be played. Rook a6. Let's finally look at this last move. Rook a6. Rook a6. Dekho, you have so much advantage that you are not going to lose the advantage unless you really blunder. You will be able to retain the advantage. The point is to make the moves which give your opponent the least counter-attacking chances. That is the main point. So यहाँ पे takes, bishop d5. थोड़ा सा careful इधर रहोगे तो I think it should be good. Nihal is obviously going to be able to convert this, I believe. And another win is going to happen. Bishop g5. He plays knight c4. Many of you had suggested. Well done, guys. Let's keep thinking. Now you are thinking for your opponent. You are thinking that what my opponent will play here. क्या खेलेगा मेरा opponent? Don't just consider moves for yourself. How are you going to calculate? Only move है. इधर नहीं, ये नहीं मार सकता, इधर नहीं जा सकता. This becomes easy. So you already know that your opponent will play rook b7. So start thinking of the next move for yourself. What is the next move for yourself after rook b7? He is going to play rook b7. Now how do you continue? People have also suggested bishop d5. Good that you considered that there is a pin, so this cannot be taken. But what you actually missed was takes, and you missed calculating the material. Bishop takes e8, queen takes e8, उसके बाद 8 queen, and just look at the material. Too many pieces with white. But I like that you tried to, stop the idea in some way. That is how you have to think. And then discard. Bishop a6, rook a6, bishop c5. No, bishop a6 would be a blunder. Rook b7. What else has been suggested? Bishop c6. Moving the bishop would be a blunder. Wouldn't work. Queen a4. Finally, people want to get the queen out of the pin. Yes, that is possible. And also you are attacking this. Definitely a possible move. Yes, d5 who has suggested. Very few people have suggested d5. Because if you look at it, like a move like d5, it's like a pawn de raha hu. I'm just giving up a pawn. Why should I do it? I'm just winning. But it's a nice move. You cannot take with the pawn because there is a pin here. Understand that. You can take with the knight, but what you got in return, this knight moved, so somebody else actually gets the opportunity. And look at this, guys. And this is the reason d5 is a very nice move. So people who suggested d5, well done, guys. Very well done. Knight c4. Knight g5 is also suggested, by the way, for rook b7. Knight g5 would be like, bell mujhe maar. Definitely not the best idea. Gives the maximum counterplay to black because you have invited this queen there. Ki please come and attack me. This bishop to like dreaming since his childhood. Ki when will I attack this g2 pawn? This knight has been waiting there for all his other team members. Ki what am I going to do there alone? And this you are already landing in a situation where you need to play the best moves. So this is perfectly the kind of move which you should avoid when you are winning. Okay, what happened? Knight c4 ko, knight g2 was it played, knight b6. Oh, this has happened. Oh my goodness, Nihal is winning here, clearly winning. इतने सारे moves हो गए, पता भी नहीं चला. Knight f3 check is not there because you have this knight right now defending. You can't take the bishop here because ये मरेगा. Oops, that's my move, sorry. I mean गलती से. So knight h4. 2 minutes with Nihal. Dead winning position. Graham says participating in Spanish Bull Festival. Okay, what is the threat? Has Kramnik any kind of tactics to any trick, any final trick, or nothing as such? What should Nihal play now? Queen d3 threatens queen h7. I like that move very much, and it also threatens bishop e8. It's a double attack in a different way. Queen d3 should finish the game. In fact, maybe queen d3 this kind of forced takes queen f3, queen b5 and 8 queen should finish the game. He's played knight h4. I think Nihal will play queen d3. There is d5 also, but oh, he plays d5. Yeah, d5 is also nice, as we already have discussed. Is you cannot take this here if he takes bishop d5. Then guys, what is the move? If black plays bishop d5, what will you play? Let me see. Without making the move, I'm asking, if black plays bishop takes d5, what should white play? Shabajjo, Dhanurag, Advait, Hydra, Vijay, Vedant, Shreya, amazing guys. You all are alert now and you know that queen takes d5. Of course, the same pattern applies. So d5. Kramnik has 1 minute 40 seconds. And he knows it's over. This position, definitely it's over. He's a piece down without any compensation. Yes, resign is incoming. He plays queen a5. This, in case things, if at all Nihal doesn't look at this rook, तो फिर bishop e8 is the only blunder possible here, guys. Only blunder. Queen e1 check. Mate. But of course, our guy is definitely going to be alert here. He plays rook d1. Saves this threat. And nothing now. Laksha asks, who is better in chess, you or Sagar? Of course, Sagar is better. He's an international master with grandmasters now. Now bishop d5 has happened, guys. Now don't play queen d5. Don't forget that you don't have a rook here. So queen a4 he plays. Queen takes a4. Bishop takes a4. Rook is attacked. He will play rook a8, which he did. And then rook c1 will come because if you take, there is a mate. So Nihal will play rook c1. Yes, Nihal played rook c1, h6, rook c7 on the board, defends the a7 pawn, d6 is hanging, hg5, bishop d6. Look at this. Did you see this? He gave up this piece. Wow. कोई chance ही नहीं है because even if the material is equal, this pawn is going to go आगे. यहाँ पे if he would have tried to play, by the way, यहाँ पे he didn't have any square. Sorry guys, but he didn't take here. Rook c7, hg5, knight f3 check, king here, f5, bishop c5, and he goes bishop c6. They're playing on 10 seconds. Takes e5. Anything like only chances. The rook comes to the back rank with some ideas, but of course it's not to be missed. Only a few moves. b6, b7. The final try Kramnik is trying with rook d1 check. If king e2, there is rook e1 mate. If king g2, there is rook g1 mate. Defend it. Nihal defends it. Oh, and he goes for a draw because that's a very nice gesture because he knows he's clearly winning here. Definitely Nihal knows that, but the match is going to be over anyway with a draw. So very nice gesture by Nihal, and he has beaten Vladimir Kramnik and moved to the next round of this global chess. This is just a fantastic play by Nihal today, what we have witnessed. And next round, as the chat has rightly mentioned, he is having one of the toughest opponents. Ding Liren. Legion. Actually, Ding Legion. So I had a lot of fun with you all in the chat, and there was a lot of chess we learned today. So, oops, did I do anything? Ding Legion. It's Ding Legion. That's my bad. It's Ding Legion. And I don't know. What is the date when this match is going to happen? Can anybody please drop it in the chat? Next match. When are the matches? I think Anish, then there is Nihal, and who else? Arjun. Not announced. Okay. Okay, we will get to know. Tonight we will see you again at 9:30 for Arjun versus Carlson. Guys, be there. It's going to be super fun. We are not going to miss that. The finals are for 2 days, today and tomorrow. So both the days be there. And Sagar will also join us from Delhi. So, had a great time with all of you analyzing the games, and these players gave us a fantastic understanding of so many nice ideas. So, I'll see you again. Bye bye. Take care.